The voting's almost over, so I think by the time I'm done yapping, we'll be good to go with solid numbers here. The question is, with the recent announcement that the UFC PI is opening a new location in China, Shanghai to be exact, for today's at MMA Junkie Radio, #Daily Debate, we want to know where you think the UFC would benefit most from a third training center in the near future. Unless you've been under a rock, you know there's one in Las Vegas. That's the OG. Shanghai has number 2. Shanghai's in Asia. So, you know, kind of guiding you guys geographically, but you have some choices here. 1, Brazil. Brazil has the second amount of athletes after the United States when it comes to UFC roster. All right, mainland Europe or the UK. So, you know, your Italy's, your France's, Spain's, Germany's, and obviously the UK. Pick a country, pick a city, whatever. The next one's just Russia, which is coming strong. It's coming on strong. And who knows? Russia may take over Brazil. I don't know. I actually haven't looked at that list lately. They may already be there. Who knows? But you know there's a lot of Russian athletes. However, it's a big country. At the same time, Russia, guys, the east part of Russia is also close to China. So be careful if you say what's that frozen part?
Siberia?
Siberia, yeah. You know, if you are going to say that, don't say that because that's close to Shanghai. And then the last is other. Other means any other place on the planet, man. Down with the penguins in Antarctica, Canada, whatever. Dan, Tom, you go first.
It's interesting. You know, I was surprised with the Shanghai announcement, you know, with the history of China and the wushu, to even old school opera schools, how they used to call them back in the day. But the government, they seem to be opening the borders. I think it's an important connection to make. And the fact that they could break those traditions, I think, speaks loudly. For my vote, which would actually be Russia. You could argue Russia probably doesn't need it. You could argue that maybe Brazil could use it more. But politically, they're trying to get into that market. It's still really tough. I mean, we finally did it after how long? But it was still a fight pass card, and we didn't really have the big names to give it. And I don't know how well. I still don't know how well received it was. I'm sure it was received positively. But I feel like having a PI there, and again with the uniformity. I mean, it's not uncommon to hear you know, top prospects from Dagestan being invited up to wrestle in Moscow and whatnot. So they already kind of have that inner travel. Whereas I think Europe, it's really tempting to do so, but where would they put it there? You know, it's easy to travel through the Eurail system, sure, but there's still a lot of travel and different language barriers you're having to cross. So anybody who puts Europe, by the way, if any of you guys vote, I want to curious to where you guys would put it. I would vote for Germany. Those people seem efficient. They got the technology and the cars over there. But yeah, I'm gonna go for Russia there.
Okay, how about you guys?
I'm gonna go with other. I don't like the choices there. I'm from Vegas. We have one right here, and I see all the advantages that come with it for the fighters that are here and the fighters maybe in California that come over, Arizona, close by. I think the East Coast needs one. I think it's only fair. I think they should get one somewhere on the East Coast for those fighters to reap these type of benefits, because to ask somebody to travel all the way across the country like that, that's a little tough.
What city?
Probably New York.
New York?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with Brazil. And I think I said one thing already, and that's Brazil has a lot of athletes. The UFC has a headquarters down in Sao Paulo. But the one thing that has me wanting to like move it from Brazil a little bit is that I'm thinking the Mexicans, the Central Americans, and the South Americans, they need a spot. And you often hear when we have fighters that are, you know, traveling to Brazil, it's down there, man. It's a 10-hour flight from here. And in South America, like I was once in Peru and went to Brazil, it's still a 5-hour flight. So that's why I want to locate them there. And I was thinking, what's a good centrally located country? And I was even thinking Lima, Peru, but then they're going to go, his mom's Peruvian. I was thinking maybe Bogota, Colombia, you know.
Ugh.
Well, I don't know. They say it's a lot safer now.
Yeah.
And here's why. Because Brazil's the only country that speaks Portuguese, and all those other countries, they speak Spanish. I get it. I'm able to adapt a little bit, but for some, man, it's like black and white. Like, what did he say? And I'm like, all right, you know. So that's why I was thinking if there was another country, I would pick something towards the tip of South America. But I think I'll just go with Brazil. I just wanted to.
What about the low end of Central America?
Really think it through. Maybe Panama or something, or maybe Costa Rica. But again,
I like
Costa Rica to Argentina goes. I'm not kidding you. Could still possibly be about a 6-7 hour flight.
Yeah, we can't make everyone happy, right?
You're right. You're right. You're right. I'll just go with Brazil because I think they have the infrastructure, the history. They could probably get some cool coaches in there. You know, like the way Forrest has a role in Vegas, maybe Big Nog could have a role in South America. We had 535 votes that came in, and I would say this is one of those that's spread out. Let me read them back to you guys. 45% went with mainland Europe or UK. 26% said Brazil. 19% said Russia. 10% said other. There's our daily debate brought to you by the MMA Junkie Radio team.